Hey, good morning, seniors. Happy Tuesday, right? Yes, this is Tuesday. So today we're going to get into the whole reason that we did the goal setting and the reflection on meditation and that sort of thing last week, talking about personal growth, is because we're working toward a college and career skill unit. All right, we're actually in that right now. So the idea is to try to equip you with as many tools as you can use post high school as possible, meaning if you need help with interview skills or if you need help with resume skills, cover letter skills for a job, scholarship essays, those sorts of things, you're going to have a little bit of flexibility with which ways you want to take this unit, and you'll be, kind of working with other people who are doing the same type of thing. What we will have all in common is we'll make sure that you have a strong, updated resume. Even if you have plans to go to college after this, of course, because you can always just go back and continue building on that. And also, hopefully, some of the instruction that I give you here will be helpful in the ways that you continue building on that resume and keeping it strong. So we'll all be doing a resume, and then you'll have some flexibility on whether you want to write a cover letter or whether you want to write a scholarship essay or something like that, and get some practice with those things. And we'll do some mock interviews with me and try to get your interview skills, beefed up so that the next time you go and do one of those things, and you can do interviews for colleges as well if you're headed that route, or for college programs if you're going into a specific program. So the resume and interview thing will, I feel like, help everybody no matter which direction you're going in. So we'll be working toward those things. What I'm going to show you today is some of the first steps in creating strong resumes and starting to build or beef up the one that you have, right? And if you don't have a resume, that's fine. Building from scratch is something that this is going to help you with. And if you already do have a resume, then this will help kind of solidify exactly what you feel is necessary to incorporate in that stronger version of a resume. Okay, so I know this recording looks a little differently with the size of the screens. I'm trying this on a different computer to make it a little easier to access everything, so it doesn't really change anything, though. I think this is generally the same thing. All right, so what I've done and what I will do is post two of my actual resumes on to OneNote in the handout section. The reason I want to do this is to show you some very, real world situations of what's going on with resume building and things that I've employed in my own job searches that have helped me in the past. And so this one is actually my current resume, and I say current because I've updated it to include the Holy Cross High School experience that I've had. And that's something that you want to do kind of all the time, is always have an updated one. And really that just helps you, the next time you go looking for a job, if you ever go look for a job, then that will help you have that stuff already in situation or situated for yourself, is what I'm trying to say. And then as you do new things with each of your jobs, you can just add those on. And even if you end up with like 20 different bullet points of things that you've done, then you can start to reduce those. You don't have to remember those or try to think back to those all at once. So kind of always updating your resume is just good practice, and it's a way to kind of show yourself above and beyond the other people in line as you're competing for those jobs, because it is, no doubt, and competition to get into those jobs. So this is my current one. Before I taught at Holy Cross, it would have just stopped right here at Governor Scholar, or I believe I had the University of Louisville one moved upward. And I'm going to post also a different version. Let me see if I have it up already. Yeah. I'm going to post this different version. This is one that while I was applying for Holy Cross, I was also applying for other jobs. This particular job was with the Census Bureau, which is, like one of my interests anyway. And it was with a instructor position there. So, while I was searching for Holy Cross, before that came up, this was one of my attempts at finding other work. You'll see that, bouncing back and forth between the two, they look a little differently, first of all. Obviously, I haven't updated this one because it doesn't matter anymore. Not if I'm keeping this one updated. And you'll see that sometimes, if you read through this, sometimes some of the bullet points change to put a little bit more focus on one thing or another. And we'll go through like the advantages and how to do that later on. But just to kind of show you, the Census Bureau wanted me to put for example, hours per week at each job, and my salary, which I've removed here for the purposes of the instruction. So they wanted to have like really specific information that no other jobs really wanted, or I wouldn't think to put on there. But again, checking to like make sure that I was following the expectations of that job posting was important, because if I didn't have these on there, then they wouldn't have even considered it. I've got the actual dates that I worked on there. This is far more accurate than, say, this one, which didn't matter as much. It just wanted to kind of see, roughly when the dates were that I worked there. Maybe depending on what you're doing, maybe you decide to put education first, maybe you put experience second, all those sorts of things. So there's lots of little ways that you can tweak a resume to fit exactly that job that you're trying to apply for. Very rarely would you send out the same resume, exactly the same resume for every job that you're doing, every job that you're applying for. More likely it's going to have more success if you have a core resume and then you kind of tweak it to match the needs and the keywords, the things that they're looking for in each one of those jobs. And so that's hopefully what I'm going to help you do, is to build that core resume, and then you can use the job description and the job posting to decide, is this resume still showing me in the best light for that job, right? What you see here at the top is kind of a real quick rundown of some of my skills and qualifications. So I felt like this was important to set myself apart. Again, these are going to be picked up and read very quickly, so I need that information to pop up almost as soon as they pick up the paper, right? So take a few minutes and look over some of these as you get time. Of course, I'm trusting you all to make mature and appropriate and respectful decisions with my information that I have on here. So, just be respectful about that, of course. So let's go over to the assignment for today. So again, we'll come back to these and other versions, and we can take a look at those in more detail later. So what I want you today is to go into OneNote, and of course this will be not like Microsoft Teams, so other people won't be able to see this, for example. But what I want you to do is to drag this resume brainstorming sample into your OneNote, into your ungraded work. And whether you have a resume already or not, I want you to go through here. If you do have a resume, just copy and paste, right? And maybe add on the other things that you're still missing. But I want you to brainstorm all the things that you can think of for all of these categories, okay? So we have past jobs, and try to include dates. Again, rough dates are okay. Service or volunteer work, so include the dates and or number of hours. Leadership roles, including those at any jobs you've had, any volunteer work or service hours you've had, any leadership roles in sports or extracurriculars, if you were team captain, or if you were the captain of the academic team or something like that, then that would be appropriate to have here in the leadership role. Technical skills, any sort of like, how to work with Microsoft Excel, you've had extensive practice with Microsoft Word, you have, lots of time working with like Google Docs or something like that, right? Some other kind of technical skills. It might feel unnecessary now, and it may be unnecessary to the resume you end up building. But if you worked with like the website builders, or if you worked with the video builders for this last project we did, that would be perfectly appropriate to put here. Any awards that you've won, and that means in school or otherwise, right? And any hobbies or interests. This is not normally something I would recommend putting on a resume, but because, my resumes are much more aged than yours are, just because I'm twice your age and I've accumulated a lot of stuff to put on a resume, recognizing that like maybe if you don't have a lot to show as far as job experience goes, then a hobbies and interest area might be beneficial to help employers understand who you are as a person, right? Which is what they want to see. So these are all brainstorming things. Of course, I've only given you a limited amount of room, so if you need to, right over here, do whatever you need to do. You can move this around. But I'd like you to fill this up as completely as possible, even things that don't feel relevant, right? So for example, service or volunteer work. Of course, you're going to put things like service hours. I would put things like the Guild Volunteer Day is a great day of service, that kind of stuff. But you can also put things like babysat my little brother, right? Every day after school from 3 to 5 while my mom was away working. That was completely a service thing. It doesn't feel like it should go here, and it doesn't maybe feel like it should belong on a resume. But especially, again, if you are entry-level style resume designing, meaning that you just don't have a whole lot of service experience or job experience, and that very much becomes relevant. That says that you are a reliable person, and that says that you have a certain amount of skill with a given area, even if it is just kind of like supervising the situation, right? Which is a fancy way of saying babysitting. So the goal is to take all these things that you're going to brainstorm into here and kind of beef them up and show them. We're not going to lie and say there's something they weren't. If it's babysitting, then it's babysitting. But you can also point out the ways that has served you and that has helped you grow as a person, and to reflect on that and then to put that into the best light possible for your resume is a way for you to build that resume into this nice, rounded document that you can send to a lot of different people and catch a lot of people's attention in a good way, right? So what I'd like you to do today, again, is to pull this into your OneNote ungraded work and then fill these out as completely as possible. And then over the next week or so, I'm going to talk about these and respond to these individually and give you some direction on how to build those resumes. Okay, so that's the assignment for today. Hope you enjoy your internship. Please let me know if you have any questions between now and then, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Take care. Bye-bye.